We've always gotten along well here. The population is mixed, with locals marrying people from elsewhere and vice versa. We've already reached the top of the Rock of Gibraltar. We've always lived
Here.
Yes.
The weather is nice and mild. It's safe and great.
Are the Gibraltarians treating you well? No. The problem is that we're treated well in Spain with no trouble. Welcome to Gibraltar, cradle of history. Well, here at the monument, that honors the memory of all the Spanish workers in Gibraltar. Our adventure begins precisely up to the Rock of Gibraltar. To Gibraltar, there you have the border. You see the Spanish flag waving, and there in the background, I don't know if the camera can catch it, the flag of Great Britain. A very unique territory. In all of Spain, in all of Europe, and all over the world. So let's get to know it a little better. About Gibraltar, let's go. Gibraltar is a small British overseas territory, located in the south of the Iberian Peninsula, known for its high strategic importance. It's a British military base disguised as Colony A that supports locals, with a military airfield, naval base, and intelligence systems. It is among the world's 5 most strategic maritime traffic points. Along with the Straits of Malacca and Hormuz, and the Suez and Panama canals, more than 100,000 ships pass through these waters every year. Known in the mythology of ancient Mediterranean civilizations as one of the Pillars of Hercules, the British seized the territory by force in 1704 during the War of Spanish Succession, between the supporters of the House of Bourbon and the supporters of the Habsburgs. In 1713, the Treaty of Utrecht was signed, officially recognizing British ownership of the rock under international law. The objective was clear: to harm the Kingdom of Spain, to possess a military base, and to protect British maritime traffic. Since then, Gibraltar's sovereignty dispute has caused occasional tension between Spain and the United Kingdom. Since 1965, the United Nations has classified Gibraltar as a non-self-governing territory awaiting decolonization, with a prior bilateral agreement between both parties. Nowadays, crossing the border between Spain and Gibraltar is very easy and takes little time. It is only conditioned by the number of visitors or workers who enter and leave the rock, whose transit is constant and concentrated at the beginning and end of the day. Currently, you're behind Spain's battle. This is Spain, and that's Great Britain. I'm giving him the big charge now. Just meters past the checkpoint at the Spanish border, the famous red phone booths welcome us to this unique territory. Well, that's how easy it was to cross. We've already crossed.
Border, we have...
Shown our identification on the Spanish side and on the Gibraltar side, and they let us through in less than 2 minutes. And now we have an exceptional special guide. Jose Antonio, a worker and president from La Línea, works in Gibraltar. Thank you, Jose Antonio. Hi, how are you? You work here? Didn't you say you've been here 12 years? And you'll give us a quick tour? Yes, we'll show you around Gibraltar. Let's see your thoughts. Let's go over there. And there's still a road that crosses the airport the planes used to land or take off. They had to stop traffic. There were incredible lines, the traffic is bad, and with those road closures, even more lines. Until 2 years ago, they built this.
Tunnel,
Yes. This tunnel spares you all the traffic and lines.
Exactly. Now...
Currently, the road is crossed by foot, bicycle, scooter, motorcycle, car, or heavy vehicles. Here already, through this tunnel, everything is very new. Look, how difficult. These are new. Is this housing? All of them.
Oh, they're new.
This is also financed and subsidized in part by the government. Especially for young married couples from Gibraltar, since this area is really for working people. Now we're going to move to another area called Ocean Village. It's like a fancy port. Okay, people with money, with a lot of money. I see gasoline at the station is 1. What's the diesel price? And is 95 at 1.2? Yes, it's cheaper. There it's 1.27 euros, but in Spain it's 1. I see it around 1.40 at about 1.40. Before, it was half, but now it's evening out. Why? Because Brexit took them out of Europe? But they want Gibraltar to remain a Schengen area and also free for citizens, for people, for transit. So that Europe grants them that status, that fortress state, Schengen. Prices should be equalized. There can't be major differences or much interest between them, okay? So they can exploit them. Now it's rising. Before it was half. Over 4 years since Brexit. Spanish and British officials still haven't agreed on the British colony statute with the European Union. Just a month before this video was published, negotiations were taking place in Brussels, which ultimately ended without the signing of the statute. The preliminary agreements cover, among other topics, the non-discrimination of Spanish workers from the ROC regarding benefits and social welfare. As Jose Antonio mentions, tobacco and fuel prices, customs cooperation, environment, taxation, and airport management by Spanish agents. The latter is just another example of the illegal occupation of land. Just like the British claim territorial waters which aren't in the Treaty of Utrecht. They claimed the yellow fever epidemic on the ROC as an excuse. In 1854 they requested temporary barracks on the isthmus, a sandy neutral zone. In 1908 they built the fence, expanding and securing the land. In 1949 they built the Royal Air Force airfield, later managed for civilian use by the Gibraltarian authorities. Years later, it still continues. There you have it. Wow, Jose Antonio just left us, and there you have it, a huge British Airways plane. Well, and next to the airport, which I'm going to go check out now, we have the Gibraltar national football team's stadium. How many people can fit in the stadium?
2,000 to 2,500.
0-2,500?
This is going to take a wall.
This what? Everything?
Down everything.
Down? Will they renovate it?
Yes. What do you think, Neveo? The lady is leaving for jail too. Does she agree?
Yes.
All new with local shops and hotels, new like that, you.
Are a worker from the line that works here?
Yes, that's why.
Very well.
Good, very. It has a lot of tourism.
A lot. I've been...
Here 30 years working, come on, and...
Can you live here on this salary? Can you live normally? Well, it's enough.
Of course, here we are doing our best, working there, yes.
Of course.
Here.
Here. How much could a job be, more or less?
1,200, 1,300, okay?
See, that's a 400 or 500 euro difference, right? Welcome to Gibraltar, cradle of history. With one of these rotary international nuts. We're here in the airport, and the just landed plane is right there. And this is incredible. I mean, to get in here, we came in by car and didn't see it, but this is the entrance. Are these people tourists or here for work? And that's how it is. You just show your identification, and once they've checked it, you enter what is properly the city of Gibraltar, past the airport. One of the peculiarities of having a runway in the middle of a road, right? That a road crosses through it? It's the dirt that needs to be cleaned. Well, dirt or the small objects that pedestrians might pick up. Previously, when vehicles passed by, they could disrupt plane landings or takeoffs and cause malfunctions. So, from what I've read here, on this runway they have all of this super secured. Everything is very well measured. And the cleaning service is spectacular. Before a plane lands or takes off, workers thoroughly clean the runway to ensure there are no issues. There's Jose Antonio and his son with us today. Great guys. Look, he brought me here so I could take a quick look and we could take a quick look. This is the casino. Back there, what you see looks like a cruise ship, but it's actually been turned into a hotel. It's a floating hotel. Now we're going to go through there. But, without a doubt, what really gives us an idea of the purchasing power here is this little marina. Look at the yachts and the boats you can see. Totally different from the fishing boats in La Linea, right? As you can see, people are calmly having their drinks, their beers, their pints. Yates Hotel, and everything is full of flags from the United Kingdom and Gibraltar.
Can I take a little walk around?
Around the hotel? Are you girls from the line? I am. I'm not. Is she from Gibraltar? No, I was born in Malaga, but I've lived here for 6 years. What's it like here? Is La Linea very different from Gibraltar? Pretty wild, right? Just this hotel is impressive. How many stars does this hotel have? 5, right? It has to be. Alright, see you later. Thank you. Wow, yes, pure luxury. Look, it's incredible that this used to be a ship. Look at these cabins that are now rooms. Let's check out the elevator. Over here you have a bunch of gins. I imagine they're Bocato and Cardinal. And we're going to the 7th floor, and on the other side from where I just was, you have the other part of this port. More ships over here, the landing and takeoff strip, and there on the other side the line. Alright, so now we're on the 7th floor. Look at the jewelry here, Gucci, jewelry, Gucci. You don't even want to imagine the amount of money in this display case. Let's see, let's take a walk around here. With its spa. And its corresponding gym. Amazing.
We're speeding up the door since we're heading up from Kalina.
Yes, I see. So,
Between me and Rod.
okay.
Thank you very much.
Yes, it does. Why don't you...
Stay there.
Yes.
You have a good view from there, okay?
Okay, thank you very much. And there...
It's closed because it's under maintenance?
Yes, okay?
Yes.
Well, here they are. These are the views from the highest floor, the 7th floor. There you can see the center of Gibraltar with the little port, which they tell me is like a small harbor. Banus in Marbella represents all the luxury of this region. Careful, okay? The flag of the United Kingdom, Gibraltar's flag, and Ukraine's flag. We also have the Ukrainian flag here. It's rare in Spain now, but Gibraltar, a British overseas territory, still has it. So you can see I wasn't lying. This is actually a ship. There's the command post. Nowadays, well, what is this? A restaurant or something like that? And here you finally have the view that opens up from the top of the cruise ship. Look at how they've taken land from the sea, huh? The Gibraltarians? All of this is practically built over the sea, raised above the water. This small port development is as well. Would you also say this exit with the blue apartment buildings is built like that? Here you can really see a difference with the houses along the line, which are shorter. And that's because Gibraltar has a very high population density. The 30,000 or 32,000 people who live here are packed into a small area. And there, in the background, ladies and gentlemen, is La Línea de la Concepción. What do you think? Can you see a difference compared to La Línea or not? You can immediately see the difference between La Línea de la Concepción and Gibraltar. I was expecting such a drastic change. The local economy of the Rock is mainly supported by 5 pillars: tourism, the import and export of tobacco, the supply of fuel to the ships entering the bay, known as bunkering. Online betting companies employ over 2,000 people, a third based in La Línea. And the companies and law firms profiting from Spain-Gibraltar tax differences. They provide management and advisory services to wealthy clients seeking to reduce taxes in their home countries.
One example is that there are
30,000 residents and 69,000 companies. Yes, I heard about that. Many companies, as you mentioned, are dedicated to betting, to the topic of gambling. There are many Asians here. It can't be Sunday when everything is empty. Yes, but at 2 a.m. this place is crowded with Asian rooms and many Chinese people. Since Hong Kong stopped being British, that whole thing about I'm going to get so mad, China is putting pressure there. Hong Kong wants to make things more like China. And a lot of people from there, do they come to the city? Yes, to the metropolis or the nearest place. There are many Asians in Gibraltar. I've heard there were many Orthodox Jews, the ones with side curls and small hats. Yes, look here, the topic of religion has always been very toned down. People here there has never been any radicalism. But the Jewish population here, who by the way come from the Sephardim, the last Jews after the Spanish conquest and all that, well, many. The Treaty of Utrecht required that Gibraltar have no Jews, as demanded by the Spanish crown. Wow. The British crown said they wouldn't kick him out and hid him somewhere, I'll show you later. So they wouldn't be seen from the loopholes the Jews settled here. Yes, that's new. Yes. That population has become radicalized here over 30 years. It's crazy. Orthodox, as you said. We used to mix with others, but now we're very isolated. Uh-huh. They have their own. You won't see it today, but at the entrance of the schools, they have private security. Very radicalized. No one says anything to them. Why? Do they deal a lot with diamonds? They own half the city. The concessionaires, the big investment funds. Here, the Jews are the owners. Well, that's it. Now I can say I'm in the southernmost part of Gibraltar. We're only 24 kilometers away from Ceuta, well, from Africa. On the other side, Tarifa is 14 away. Just to give you an idea, well, I'm sure you can feel the wind here. It's much windier than in the rest of the Rock. And it's no surprise, because look how the Atlantic Ocean opens up over there. It meets the Mediterranean Sea. Here everything is full of ships, cargo vessels, and also ferries. And if you look closely, you can see tiny boats next to them. What those tiny boats do is nothing else but refueling the ships. So, when you see a big ship and next to it a tiny boat, it may seem like it's boarding the big ship, but it's actually refueling it. The fuel here is very well priced. That's why you see so many ships refueling here. With this view, we can understand the strategic importance of this little piece of land, this rock. Jose Antonio mentioned something to me before we arrived at Europa Point, the southernmost point of Gibraltar. It's that these houses you see here, these used to be military houses in the past. Well, they either demolished them or renovated them and built new houses. And can you imagine the prices? He tells me that they're between 1 and 2 million pounds, these houses here, the old military ones. And do you have another question? This mosque is nearby. Built, as Jose Antonio told me, by a Saudi sheikh, a friend of the former emeritus king, a mosque for the Muslim inhabitants of Gibraltar. And when Franco closed the fence, when the border between Spain and Gibraltar was closed, many workers came from Morocco to make up for the lack of labor. Previously, citizens from La Linea and nearby areas supplemented this. Well, those people, that generation of Muslims, of Moroccans who stayed here, they are one of the reasons why this mosque was built, which you can see here at Europa Point. Now, since I'm in Gibraltar, and I just saw something I haven't seen in a long time, I'm going to get myself an ice cream here. The ice cream truck. Here's Johnny. Here is Johnny. Do you see him there? Ice cream and slush, which I don't know what it is. Hey, what was that slush thing? What's that written there? Oh, the slushy? Oh, slushy, right. Here you call it slush. Okay, I'll have one, please. A freshly made plain one. In a cone? Yes, in a cone. Perfect. Can I pay in euros? Yes, of course. Are you local? I'm from Algeciras. Oh, from Algeciras. How do you handle llanito? With this English language, you've learned it well by now, right? Basic? Here it's always the basics, yes. You don't really need a high level. You don't need it. It's just the basics. Strawberry, white chocolate, and so on. It's clear now. Sure, nothing. Very good. And everything's good. We work well here. Yeah, honestly, I'm really happy, man. You are? That's great. Yeah, really. Aren't we adding any sauce? Nothing, yeah. Plain, totally. Plain. This one. How much? Euro 240, right? Yes. Well, Jose, thank you so much. Nice to meet you, man. Good luck. Hope everything goes well for you. Thanks. Thank you very much. So,
that's it. Gibraltar ice cream for your health.
Gibraltar's population blends British and Mediterranean coastal cultures. Families with roots in Malta, Genoa, and other parts of Italy include Jews, Portuguese, Indians, French, Moroccans, and Spaniards. Here, everyone speaks English and Spanish, and they have their own language known as Llanito, a mix of British English and Andalusian Spanish. And it sounds like this.
Being older than this gentleman by a few years, by a couple of years, but I was evacuated from Gibraltar to England when I was 4 years old.
So,
I spent my next 4 years under the London Blitz.
after the rock was taken, about 5,000 Spanish residents moved nearby, yet Spaniards have always remained present. And until 1939, education was in Spanish. This good relationship between Spaniards and Gibraltarians was somewhat damaged as a result of the tensions arising from the border closure ordered by Franco. Between 1969 and 1982, the language declined as younger generations increasingly spoke English. Despite this, today the relationship between Gibraltarians and Spaniards remains very good and mutually dependent. We've always gotten along well here. The population is mixed, with locals marrying people from elsewhere and vice versa. We have friends on both sides. They come, these guys usually go out to La Linea and so on. We meet, we cross paths, very good relationship. There's no hatred or anything like that. None good relationship, none the opposite, because we keep repeating ourselves. We rely on each other no matter what. Even if you have more or I do, you still depend on me. Yes. They don't even feel British. Is that true? Gibraltarians don't know anything about the British. Why? Because, like I told you before, this used to be a navy base. The British, especially the military, they've always looked at the citizens of the colonies as citizens of... I'm from Great Britain, the metropolis. I'm the one who stops. You're a second-class citizen they've always looked down on. They would come here, the sailors would arrive, fight and all that. The British villagers want nothing to do with them. Do they feel Gibraltarian? But of course they're not stupid. But me, Gibraltarian, I don't want the English. But the passport, yes, give it to me. Of course, yes, give me British citizenship so I can travel the world, so I can get my benefits, so that... Of course, right? It's hard to explain that, you know, the way this is. There's a unique trait here that only those present understand. That generation, those people are now already old folks. They're 70, 80 years old, but they're the ones who are most hurt, the ones who hate Spain the most. Because they were locked up here for 11 years just talking through the bars. Some relatives stayed on one side, others on the other. And so those people, above all, it was with Franco. Franco not here. Franco wasn't here. He said, well, he didn't want to. Of course. That has eased somewhat with younger generations since the border reopened. But of course, that was a blow for them. Look, here next to the castle. This is the castle wall. You see, this neighborhood is practically built right up against the wall, you see. The difference there is, right? Look, let's go in. It's... wow. There you have a courtyard. What would be a courtyard? There's the staircase of the apartments. Look, do people still live here? And this building boarded up, already abandoned? Look. The difference with this is quite noticeable. Here you can see how quickly Gibraltar has grown with such modern and luxurious buildings that exist nowadays. And how did it start? It wasn't that long ago, right? Here, there were small houses. You are from here, you from La Linea,
I'm from...
Romania. Have you been working here for a long time already or not? I've been here for almost 8 years and he's been here for 14 years. 14? And do the Gibraltarians treat you well? So, no? Yes. The issue is they don't treat us well in Spain and don't give us work. So, who's in La Linea? What do you do there? There's no work? You come here at 6:30 in the morning and you already see people going inside. It's like ants going inside. The people. I investigated alone and found myself inside tunnels and fortifications built just after the Great Siege of Gibraltar, which lasted 4 years, from 1779 to 1783. It was the Spanish crown's last serious attempt to retake the rock by force in the 18th century. For 4 years, Spain tried to cut off supplies, strengthened its presence nearby, and built floating artillery batteries. These were destroyed by English fire, who broke the blockade and survived the siege. Wow, the Gibraltar cave system is wild. Look at that. How does it just keep going? I came from that hallway. There's a window there. Here's another one. And here the hallway continues to what looks like another window. All of this we've just seen would be considered a gallery. I imagine it's for placing cannons and for defense because it has a direct view toward the line. That's the exit. Wow, look at all the weeds around here. Over there, hallways, the rock. And like I was saying, the windows that were there must have been for cannons. Because look, what a view of Spain, of La Línea de la Concepción. Specifically, if you look at the schools in their building, the playground is on the rooftop. There you have the kids playing during recess. These abandoned tunnels and batteries aren't part of the tourist circuit, but they clearly show the rock's defensive capabilities. Did anyone go upstairs? Who?
Yes.
Do you have help? No. That's interesting. She's the first person from Gibraltar I've met. What's it like living here? Yes, it is.
Very good. The weather is very nice. It's very small. It's safe, so it's great.
But true.
If you go down, be careful not to get lost.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
There are some people who get lost. Okay, are you originally...
From here? No.
I'm British?
British, but now you live here? Okay, thanks. That's amazing. The number of galleries there are here. As the girl said, be careful, don't get lost. They're like labyrinths.
All these galleries were built during the 18th century.
Throughout the 18th century, mainly to prevent it from falling back into the hands of the crown.
It was...
In the 18th century, when the fiercest battles occurred between the British and Spanish crowns. To recover the Rock of Gibraltar, and all these tunnels and galleries we're seeing now are from that time. You can tell this place is pretty abandoned, right? You can tell they haven't put any money into restoring all these artillery batteries and defensive positions. Only some paths are maintained, and the rest you'll find completely overgrown. There you have it, 1,790. Bomb-proof battery. Where were we just now? Huge complex. Another position highlighting the rock's defensive potential. Although more modern, the O'Hara battery is located at the highest point, over 420 meters above sea level. We've already reached the Rock of Gibraltar's highest point. Look at the views we have from here. The cannons, some antennas up there on the rock, and down here, a private beach with artificial sand. And a little further away we have the apartment blocks. Huge skyscrapers, and right behind the skyscrapers you can already see from here the fort, Santa Barbara, the ruins, and everything that it is. The line of Concepcion, La Tunara neighborhood, and the beach stretching to the end. We can see a piece of cannon here, which is already big. But the one that presides over this battery is even bigger. The battery is already open. Here. Look, what machinery. Oh my. I don't know how far up I can go, but you can see the huge cannon there. And all the mechanisms. Amazing, it's huge. Look at the rails marked on the floor. So the cannon can turn with a small rail system, look, like a kind of cart. There you have it. So the cannon could turn and aim. And then here you can see this. Yes, these are howitzers, replicas of the originals. This shows how soldiers transported and loaded them. From here, from these caves, right below the cannons we just saw. This is where another group of soldiers was in charge of supplying the soldiers who were there at the artillery battery. Look, what tunnels underneath the cannon we just saw. This is all really dug out, and now it's pretty well set up for tourism. But imagine this, I don't know, 60 years ago. Of course, you can see the dampness of the caves here, the floors. You can practically slip, but it's just bare rock. Well, there's a lot of hard work here. Whew! What we have here is already the engine room. As you can see, this engine is huge. It's impressive. The switches. All of this was to operate the electronic and electrical mechanisms of the O'Hara artillery battery. Look here next to the battery. There we have the second cannon of this O'Hara battery. It's incredible how steep the rock is. Wow, this is the other side of the rock, let's say. This is the side that can't be seen from Algeciras and from the bay. Very beautiful, I must honestly say, in favor of Gibraltar. It's all the greenery it has. Even though it's a rock, there's a lot of green, a lot of trees. Down there you have the example. And in general, in the areas that aren't built up, which are very steep, very sloped, there's usually a lot of greenery too. Here it's less noticeable, but over there it almost looks like a small forest. The diameter of the dome behind me here is almost 48 meters.
And now, yes, the windows...
Windows in.
Is Teramago at the market?
And if you look closely, the sea rises in the bay. And it continues over there, along that mountain, winding around it and separating Morocco from Spain.
Come on, damn it, but just give me a little because I'm pretty full.
Dizzy? Just a bit. No, it won't make you dizzy. It's not harmful, it's like tobacco. Wow, it really stings the nose, huh?